Hello everyone. To address the global challenges of climate change and food security, two professors, one from Delft University of Technology in the Netherlands and one from Oregon State University in the US, co-created an initiative called the Trans-African Hydrometeorological Observatory, TAMO in short. Let's watch a video about TAMO.
The ambition of TAMO is to develop a vast network of weather stations across Africa. At the moment, there are way too few. On an average day, approximately 50 African weather reports are collected at the World Meteorological Organization in Geneva. If it is up to the people at TAMO, this number will increase to several thousand reports a day. The main goal is the installation of over 20,000 hydrometeorological monitoring stations in Africa, serving the large demand for weather data from this continent.
But when we look, for example, at food production, so by 2050 we have to double the food production. That's because there's more people, 10 billion people, but also because we consume more and more food because we all get a little bit richer. And when you then look at the world map, where can you go? Where's there still space? Where's there still soils, a decent climate? There's only two places. One is Latin America and the other one is Sub-Saharan Africa. Those are the only two places where we can really increase food production. So that's a global responsibility. And so it's not just for Africans, it's also for the whole world that we need to know better what's going on there with climate. What is the potential, what can be done, and how can we optimize the production there without destroying the environment.
By making use of modern technologies, the weather station will be very affordable and will work like this. Small microphones at the bottom of the device can measure the wind direction and speed. In the funnel at the top of the device, the raindrops are collected. By measuring the size of the drops, it is possible to determine the density of the rainfall. A small solar cell, half the size of a business card, ensures a constant power supply. There are no moving objects in the weather station, which makes the device robust and very low maintenance.
The nice thing is, though, that we can put these at places, at many places. So instead of having maybe 6 stations in Ghana, all of a sudden we may have 300. And that means you can do other things with it. You have more detailed weather predictions. You can do insurance for particular fields and farmers and crops. You can say something about traffic and those kind of things. So just by adding the detail, because it's so much cheaper, we can do all of a sudden much more with our data.
So TAMO offers affordable ground stations that generate reliable weather information which can be utilized by users such as cocoa farmers in Ghana to optimize crop production. Once you have developed a solution to address a global challenge and you have identified a potential user and specified what he or she will gain from it, then you can start validating your ideas. But how to start? If you are a new kid on the block in a specific business and you cannot bring the whole value proposition to a certain customer yourself, you can team up with entrepreneurs that offer something complementary. Like TAMO did with a mobile tech company in Ghana. Where TAMO offers reliable weather information, the mobile tech company is able to carry out the last mile to send out the weather information to cocoa farmers. Then, together, you can validate and further develop your solution. Find out if there is a market opportunity for it by doing an interactive market mapping exercise. For this exercise, it is required that you interact with potential users and other key informants to obtain feedback on your idea and learn about how the market looks like. How is it structured? Who are the market actors and what are their needs? Does your solution really solve a pain of the user? To get all these questions answered, you need to go outside and talk with others about your idea. This way, you can build a network to develop your business for, and perhaps even better, to co-create your business with. The market mapping tool has been developed by Practical Action, an NGO based in the UK, and can be used as a visual tool to support interactions with co-creators for developing your product market fit. The tool consists of 3 rows, one for mapping the enabling business environment, one for the market chain actors, and one for mapping services related to that market chain. For the TAMO case, we mapped the cocoa market in Ghana to find out how reliable weather info could be of value to cocoa farmers and perhaps even other market actors. Let's begin with the middle bar, which reflects the market chain, often in agriculture referred to as the value chain. The market chain contains all actors that have ownership over over a specific good at some point in its journey from inputs and primary producers to end market, consumer, and perhaps even waste recycler. For the cocoa value chain, this bar reflects the journey from cocoa farmer to the consumer. As you can see, when mapping out the cocoa value chain for the first time, we did not know exactly how value was created. Therefore, it was very important to interact with others to fill that knowledge gap. In the lower bar, support services of the value chain are mapped. You can do the mapping process by moving along the market chain actors you identified and ask yourself and your team the following question for each actor. What inputs, services, and advice does this market actor use or need to add their value to the market? Think, for instance, of market information, financial services, and facilitation of market linkages. For example, services related to the cocoa sector in Ghana are input supplies, transport extension services, microfinance, and market information services. And also, weather information can be added here. Finally, the upper bar of the market map considers the enabling business environment. What are the business regulations that affect the value chain? Which consumer trends are present? What do you know about the finance policy? Is there a tax and tariff regime that affects the implementation of your idea? The cocoa market in Ghana is regulated by the governmental body COCOBOD, the Ghana Cocoa Board, and its regulatory bodies such as the Producer Price Review Committee, which is mandated by law to set the producer price of cocoa in Ghana. Now, how to carry out an interactive market exercise with your own team? The exercise consists basically of 3 steps. So the first thing to do is, together with your team, to define a market and map that market. And then brainstorm about all market actors that you can think of that belong to the market chain and put down on paper all what you already know about the services and enabling environment related to that market chain. This first attempt at mapping the market helps you to get an overview of what your team already knows and what the knowledge gaps are in your understanding of the market. The second step for your team is to interact with relevant people to talk about your solution and the market. In this step, you interact with others to fill knowledge gap and work on your product market fit. The ultimate aim of interacting is to build a network that fosters co-creation of your business. Use the interaction to gather new contacts, new insights, to fill knowledge gaps and validate your product market fit. Is your entrepreneurial idea really useful for the target market? In this exercise, co-creation is key. You have to be bold, get out of your comfort zone and talk to others about your entrepreneurial idea and its market. To guide this co-creation process, the market map can be used to start the conversation. When talking to others, show your initial findings and ask them to help you improve the market map. And when talking to potential users, it is helpful to bring a visualization of your entrepreneurial idea. For instance, you can reflect your idea by drawing it onto a napkin to support the interactions. Show the potential user the initial design of your solution and welcome him to co-create the solution that is wanted by the user. This step can be repeated with different market actors to get as many insights as possible from which you can learn and subsequently tweak or pivot your solutions and markets. At least one session needs to be dedicated to interact with potential users to validate the user gains and pains of your value proposition. Do they recognize the benefits of your entrepreneurial idea? In this session, it is very important that you are open-minded and flexible to kill your darlings for the better, to improve your solution based on users' feedback. Keep in mind that your initial idea is not one crafted in stone, and to improve the success rate, the co-creation sessions are indispensable. Once you have validated your solution and its value proposition, you are ready for the third step, in which you compile all feedback and ideas gathered in the previous steps and start drafting ideas for the actual implementation, preferably together with co-creations you met in step 2. Here are some tips when carrying out an interactive market mapping exercise. Use a large sheet of paper to map the market, one you can bring along when visiting your potential co-creators. Use sticky notes to be flexible for iterations when you discuss the market map to allow market actors to move elements around the map or replace them with new ones. And bring a napkin sketch of your solution. Be as specific as possible. It is easy to put down generic information on the map that is not very useful. Avoid this by repeatedly asking yourself, does this reflect the real situation or are we missing something? Can I be more specific by, for instance, adding details such as numbers? And be humble. There's a saying attributed to the old Greek philosopher Socrates, I know that I know nothing. Therefore, he went out to the market and gathered information by asking people questions and allowed them to surprise him with relevant insights. He was a master at picking people's brain. In the interactive market mapping exercise, it is important to create an open atmosphere as such that your co-creators, be it a potential user or another market actor, feel free to give all feedback that enables you to improve your idea. Using the market mapping tool and the feedback provided during interactions, you can validate your product market fit, its enabling business environment, and connect with potential co-creators of your solution. This will help you one step further in realizing your idea.